Welcome to Travolting, hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering Basements, The Dumb Waiter. Enjoy the episode. Hello, and welcome everyone to this week's episode of Travolting.
Folks.
As you just heard in that title, we are covering the film Basements.
The Dumb Waiter.
Specifically the segment, The Dumb Waiter, as we mentioned at the end of our last episode on Perfect, which thank you all for listening, if you did.
Wasn't a dumb movie, Perfect.
It was not a perfect movie, but it was also not a dumb movie.
This is a dumb movie.
This is a dumb waiter. But this is a movie called Basements,
Yep.
directed by Robert Altman. Mm-hmm. It is actually two movies shot independently that are just packaged as one thing. As a result, we're only covering one section of it, The Dumb Waiter, which has John Travolta in it.
Yeah, and the two stories aren't related.
Yeah, they're not related. They're just both they're both filmed adaptations of Harold Pinter plays. They just decided to package them as one thing.
Cool.
So it's essentially two movies. We're only covering one of them.
Yeah.
Because we did not see much point in watching an hour-long movie that has no connection to anything we're doing.
Yeah. Fun fact, I think I read in the trivia page that Harold Pinter?
Yes, Harold Pinter.
Said he actually liked John Travolta's performance.
Yeah, he thought this was the best version of that character he had ever seen.
Yeah.
These are fairly well-known stage plays, specifically the other one, which is called The Room. With no relation to Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
No relation.
But yeah, this one's called The Dumb Waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look up when The Dumb Waiter was written.
Yeah.
Like the play, not the script for this movie.
Okay.
The Dumb Waiter is a one-act play written in 1957.
It's an old boy.
Yes.
Do you know how old John Travolta was in 1957?
1957?
He would
have been like
3.
Yeah, would have been like 3.
He was born in 1954.
I'm glad you remember that. That was impressive.
Well, I always have to like calculate how old he is during certain movies because I feel like that has a lot of context to it. So he was 31 when he did Perfect, and now he is 33.
Mm. But yes, this is a movie.
A really bad one.
It's directed by Robert Altman.
Yeah.
Like, not a guy named Robert Altman, like the Robert Altman.
The Robert Altman.
Guy who directed MASH, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Long Goodbye, Nashville, Player. You know? These great movies that I love and that other people love, and that I'm looking at a list right now of all of his great movies on Wikipedia.
I gotta be real. I'm not huge into Robert Altman.
A really good director.
Yeah, I imagine he is. It's just
You haven't seen that many?
No, I haven't seen that many Robert Altman films.
You should check some of them out.
So we're not starting off on a good foot. Is there a very notable Robert Altman film that you can list off that I would recognize?
Nashville?
Nope.
The Long Goodbye?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
He did the Robin Williams Popeye movie?
Okay. I didn't see that.
You claim to be a film fan, sir.
I claim to be.
Yes. MASH.
I watched like maybe an episode.
No, the movie, not the TV show. You fucking fool.
I didn't watch the movie.
The movie. He's a very good director. Very good director.
Is he still alive?
He is not. He died in 2006.
Oh, sad.
But a very noble director. Won a lot of awards, a lot of Golden Globes, Oscars, all that fun stuff.
Cool.
But in the 80s, he decided, you know what? I'm going to start making television play adaptations.
Television play adaptations.
Adaptations of classic plays.
Directors go to die.
Yeah, he did. He resurged later, but this is, just in kind of his, he makes this thing. A number of film adaptations of plays. This movie was very difficult to find.
I just had an idea that I need to say it right now, or else I'm going to forget it. So we are going to talk about this movie.
Yes.
But I just thought of an even better movie about this. So you make a movie about John Travolta.
Yes.
The actual person, John Travolta. The setting, the set of The Dumb Waiter. Yeah. Hear me out. John Travolta, actor who was big in the 70s and his early 20s, right? Going through a slump right now, having a hard time. what does he do? He takes a chance with director who Robert Altman was already known at the time, right?
Yes, he was very well known.
Okay. So he this is like, he thinks, okay, like I've had 3 flops. I need something. Robert Altman says, take a chance with me and do a play adaptation. And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And he says, come on, do it, man. I promise you it'll bring you back. So what does he do? He says yes. And basically it's just a movie about his experience on The Dumbwaiter.
Yes. It's called The Dumber Waiter. The Dumb and Dumber Waiter. Jim Carrey is also in. Jim Carrey as Robert Altman.
I'm giving Jeff a look like we might have stumbled onto something.
We're going to make this movie.
Okay.
Anyway, this movie is very difficult to watch. It was, you can only watch it, as near as we can tell, via VHS tape or on a VHS rip on YouTube.
Yep.
With Arabic subtitles.
With Arabic subtitles.
And very difficult to understand what the people are saying. It's very low quality.
I have to give a shout out to our fans who might be involved with the ASMR community. This is a perfect ASMR film because you will fucking fall to sleep watching this film. You absolutely will. Like, Tom Conti speaks with a very quiet ASMR voice, and he's like, I don't know what to do. Where's the gun? Oh, bear with me, sir. Somebody put an envelope under the door. There's no gas. Why is the dumbwaiter coming down? And it's that for the entire hour. Like, literally, Tom Conti lulls you to sleep. It's a great ASMR film. I would highly recommend you, but right before people go to sleep, just look up Basement's The Dumbwaiter on YouTube, hit play. If you got YouTube Premium, you should be able to lock your phone so it can turn off, or the lock screen can go, but the audio will still play. Mm-hmm. If you don't have YouTube Premium, then you'll just keep your phone screen on while it charges, and then you just listen to... Sorry, our graphic designer just walked in. Hi, Becca.
I could be louder.
It's all right. But so, yeah, it's an ASMR film. Highly recommend people, like, just put this on. You will fall asleep instantly.
Yes, it's...
Nothing happens. Well, like, things happen, but boring things happen.
Yes. But before we get into the movie...
I'm already putting Jeff to sleep right now talking about the film.
Before we get into this movie, we're not going to have too much to talk about.
We're not going to have
So I want to take this time to kind of just take a step back, look back at everything we've done, and just kind of talk about Travolta's career to this point.
This is our episode 12.
Yes. This is episode 12. We're like 1/6 of the way through this show.
We started this journey with The Devil's Reign in 1975, and we are now 12 years later.
Yes. And so I want to just look back at each of the things we've covered and kind of just draw a little a diagram of Travolta's career to this point.
And for folks listening, if you're wondering, is Jeff stalling the episode right now to make it longer? You would be right.
Yes. But basically, we started with Travolta in 1975. He's on Welcome Back, Kotter, and his first movie was The Devil's Reign.
Devil's Reign.
Very small role.
Supporting role.
I would say less than supporting, possibly.
More of an extra.
He's present. But he's in it. He gets a credit. And, at the same time, Welcome Back, Kotter starting to pop off. Off of that, he gets
doing good stuff for him.
He gets picked up by Brian De Palma, another very big name in the 70s, who sees real potential in him, puts him in Carrie, gives him a role. It's a small role, but it's important.
He has great hair in Carrie.
He has great hair in Carrie.
Great hair in Carrie.
And, that's kind of his first big movie appearance.
Yeah. Devil's Reign, not great hair.
You can hardly see it.
Yeah, because he's wearing a hood.
He's wearing a hood the whole time.
Carrie, though, great hair.
Carrie, great hair.
Yeah.
And, Carrie does well for him. At the same time, he's in Welcome Back, Kotter. It shows kind of his range in playing a brute in that movie. Next is he gets his first starring role in the television movie Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Yeah, an interesting...
a great episode of our show.
A great test run.
Yes.
For him.
It shows his limitations.
It does show his limitations.
Greatest performance.
Yeah.
But it kind of sets up the rest of his career. He's working with a director he'll work with on his biggest success.
That was Randall Kleiser.
Randall Kleiser, who'll do Grease.
Yeah. He's got long hair.
It sets up like the platonic ideal of what Travolta's gonna think we want out of him, which is, attractive male movie star, romantic interest, all this fun stuff.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna find out it really isn't his best place to be.
Not really.
But Boy in the Plastic Bubble kind of tees all that up.
Mm-hmm.
He jumps into Saturday Night Fever right off of that, gets an Oscar nomination.
First
iconic performance
role in a feature film.
Yes,
gets an Oscar nom.
Iconic performance.
How old was he in Saturday Night Fever? 19, 20?
He's playing an 18-year-old, but I think he himself was like 20, 22. Something like that.
Actually, because that came out in 1970, because he was 19 during The Devil's Reign.
Yes.
And that was 1975. So 1977. So he's 21.
Yes.
2021. Listen, Jeff, you and I are both like, what, 24, 25?
Somewhere around there.
Imagine your 20-year-old self, 21-year-old self, and you're just getting into this acting biz. You do your first film, and you get a fucking Oscar nomination. How big does your head have?
He had an Oscar nomination 3 years prior to how old we are.
Yeah.
Which is insane. But yeah, he it's insane. He's
invincible. I would think
invincible at this time, yeah.
Yeah. And Grease.
And then Grease, working with Randall Kleiser again.
Invincible. He's
showing his range as an actor around this time. Saturday Night Fever being like the ultimate example of that, how good he is.
Invincible.
And then Grease being almost the tonal opposite of that performance.
Yes.
Where it's still had a flash and a lot of style, and like, as we, Lily Tomlin said, he's like a contradiction of masculinity and femininity.
But instead of like embracing his femininity like he does,
it's a movie about embracing masculinity.
It's about embracing masculinity.
And I think that shows some of his range. It also sets up maybe what will be his failures later is doing movies that don't like engage with him on that level.
Right.
He does Moment by Moment after Grease, which is
it was
disastrous.
It was horrifying to watch.
But that's teeing up what's going to happen to him, and it's even though that's the movie where that quote came from, it's a movie that's not interested in using him in any compelling way.
Yeah,
and instead just lets him flounder.
Yes, it is a great. You said it great. You said a great phrase during the moment where it's not his downfall quite yet, but it is a harbinger.
Yeah, harbinger of what's to come.
A harbinger of what's to come.
Yes,
I think that's a perfect way to set it up.
And Moment by Moment, not a great hit for him, but it's a fluke. It happened.
Not a great performance either.
Not a great performance.
Yeah.
It starts to show some cracks in the armor.
Yeah, he's not quite invincible.
He jumps into Urban Cowboy after that.
God does bleed.
It's just sad. God does bleed.
Do you bleed? You will. You
will. Snyder cut on HBO Max now.
For our audience,
I've not seen it.
Just to engage with our audience, have you folks seen Justice League Zack Snyder? Because if you haven't,
we haven't.
We have it at the date of this recording. By the time this comes out, though, when's this episode supposed to premiere?
7 years. No, this episode comes out in like a month, I think.
So like we're recording.
We will
this
probably
in
have
March.
seen it by that point.
I don't know if I will. I haven't seen the original Justice League.
I will. It's like in 5 parts, I think. So I'm just gonna.
Last DC movie I watched was Batman v Superman: Suicide Squad.
I'm sorry.
I haven't watched any more after that.
Wonder Woman and Aquaman are pretty good.
Oh no, I did watch Wonder Woman.
Aquaman's pretty good too. You should watch Aquaman.
I haven't seen Aquaman.
You should watch Aquaman.
You're not the only one to recommend it to me.
I have recommended so many people watch Aquaman.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to make a sequel to that movie. They visit all 7 seas in the first movie. Like, what do you do next?
You visit the Sea of Tranquility on the moon.
Maybe that's the plot. Aquaman it's like 7 movies in one, and it's good and it rules. There's like
I don't know enough about it to disagree.
There's a part where they walk into the ocean and Pitbull starts blasting. It's crazy.
I don't know enough to disagree with you, so
folks,
I'll take your word for it.
Let me segue a little bit off. This. We're in the Kingdom of Atlantis right now. This is Atlantis Corner. Aquaman's the most buck wild movie ever. It's like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
With Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
That is also Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's about trying to reclaim the crown from a relative who doesn't deserve the throne.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also a war movie. And there's also a bunch of business about romance. And then Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins herself,
Julie Andrews in this movie?
Voices the Kraken.
Okay.
She's the voice of the Kraken.
Alrighty then.
There's a part where like, we need to go to the Saharan desert. And it's like, how are we going to get there? I know a guy. And then it cuts to a beach, and you just start hearing Pitbull rapping Africa by Toto.
Can you demonstrate?
He's like, I've been left down, except for dead. I don't know the lyrics, but it's called Ocean to Ocean. You go, it's a great song.
Okay.
Pitbull, great artist, Mr. Worldwide himself, more like Mr. Oceanwide for this movie.
Compared to John Travolta's collaboration with Pitbull,
We're not talking about John Travolta's collaboration with Pitbull yet. That is to come.
Oh, I know.
We're not talking about that yet.
All right.
Pitbull, great. Watch Aquaman. It's a great movie if you haven't seen it.
What movie were we talking about when this?
We were talking about Moment by Moment, which is why we got talking about a much better movie called Aquaman. Moment by Moment.
Terrible movie.
Yes, terrible one.
Don't watch
it. It is
it.
Urban Cowboy.
Urban Cowboy. A refresher after Moment by Moment.
A moderate success for him.
Yeah. I think if you watch Moment by Moment and then Urban Cowboy, you'll breathe a sigh of relief.
As I said last week, it's a solid double or a triple, not a home run.
Yeah.
But it works for him. He gets, he's good enough in it. It's pretty much a center fever, but with Cowboys and Deborah Ringer.
A lot of problematic bits about it, given for the times that it was made in.
Yes.
But
it's a movie of its time, back when movies could be about guys having to learn. Maybe women, deserve to be treated like people.
Maybe you shouldn't beat your wife.
Yes. These movies with bold claims like that.
Maybe you should,
The 1980s were a wild time.
Wild time.
I wasn't there, but
neither was I.
Our parents were. I'm sure they had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Urban Cowboy, he's working his way through it.
Sports a mad beard.
Yeah, he sports a mad beard.
In Urban Cowboy.
For
like the first 10 minutes.
That's the real achievement of Urban Cowboy.
That you see John Travolta with a beard.
Which we'll see again
I fell in love with that man, and now he's gone.
Yes.
Oh, Danny boy.
Yeah. The pipes. But after that, he jumps into what I believe both of us think is his best performance yet so far.
Absolutely.
His best movie, Blowout. Another Brian De Palma collaboration.
Yep.
In the arc of it, if you don't take its reaction in, it seems like it should be his pinnacle, his peak.
Yep.
Kind of like the culmination of everything he's been working for.
Mm-hmm.
This extremely committed, devoted performance.
Yep.
With a great auteurist director, a great movie.
Absolutely.
Great ideas.
Yep. It's Timothy Chalamet's Call Me By Your Name.
Of all the people you could have used. Of all the people.
Well, right. It's his first, really art housey film, because prior to that, he was in, Lady Bird, and he was doing more supporting roles.
You just described Lady Bird as not art housey.
It is art housey, but he's he's more supporting role in that.
He's present in it.
I'm saying Call Me By Your Name is pinnacle art house
role.
movie.
Yeah. It's his starring role.
Yeah.
But Blowout's fairly well funded. I would not describe it as an art house movie. I would say I would say it's a movie that would be called art house nowadays. Back then it was a mid-budget movie, which we don't make anymore.
Right.
Because no one wants to make a $40 million movie, because you can make a $10 million movie or a $200 million movie.
One of the two.
Because the industry is broken.
Yes. TV's where it's supposed to be right now.
Yes, TV is where there's a lot of interesting stuff in movies, but no one's funding the mid-budget movies. It's sad. But yes, Blowout should be his peak, his pinnacle. Instead, it becomes his peak for all the wrong reasons. It leads to a cliff.
Yeah.
It does not do well in the box office.
It was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, it's a little, people didn't like its depressing ending.
And just one quote, I have to quote one of my film professors here. Again, I'm pulling out the assholery film school thing where they say, you want to make things ahead of its time, but not too far ahead of its time, because you want to be alive by the time it gets appreciated.
Yeah.
If you make something too far ahead of its time, you're dead, and then it gets appreciated.
And that sucks. Vincent Van Gogh, whatever. It's so sad.
Yeah. But this was ahead of its time, and it was a non-glamorous. It's not glamorous.
Yeah.
And I think people at the time, especially because we talked about the 70s was a tough time politically for America.
Yeah.
And people are looking for some optimism, some hopefulness, and this does not grant that
Blowout
wish.
did not accomplish that.
And
unlike Grease, which unlike the previous Travolta movies where you kind of expect to have a fun time.
Yeah.
This was a real movie.
Yeah.
Didn't work out well for him.
Yeah. And so audiences didn't take.
Yeah. Travolta sees the rejection. And he cowers and retreats.
Like any normal person probably would.
Yes.
And it's just tragic.
And he does a sequel to Saturday Night Fever.
Just called Staying Alive.
Meh.
Well,
he does a follow-up to Grease. Not like directly, but he does another Olivia Newton-John collaboration.
Yeah.
Does Nope. Not that one either. He does another movie with his Urban Cowboy director, James Bridges, called Perfect. Not a perfect movie.
Yeah.
You folks have listened to all our episodes on this, so I don't need to get too far into it.
Yeah.
But his career's in a really precarious spot right now.
Yeah.
He's looking for something to bring him back. He doesn't do any major movies for 4 years at this point.
He's looking for a life raft.
He gets hit up by, you talked about this earlier, but he gets hit up by Robert Altman.
Robert Altman.
Very well respected director.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, John, doing this like TV play adaptation. Troll's like, a real director, this movie will at least understand how to use me, and I'm sure this will turn out okay. Sad.
Very sad.
And so the dumb waiter, part of Basements, begins. And there's a truck driving down a road.
Oh, are we going into the plot?
We're going right in. We're diving right in.
You know how much time we were able to squander
much?
with that? 20 minutes.
Or 20 minutes.
We got maybe 20 minutes of this summary.
This is a 58-minute movie. This episode, I'm curious if it goes longer than the movie's runtime.
It won't.
It won't. Because I'm struggling. I struggled to understand exactly what was happening here. Partially just because it was hard to understand with the quality of the recording.
Yeah.
But also, just talk about it now. It's a set in the UK, in England, in jolly London town.
Jolly London town.
And the quality of the accent you just heard coming from me is still better than the quality of the accent coming from
our boy,
Mr. John Travolta.
Yeah, it starts
His
with
accent needs to be heard to be believed.
You know, I mentioned this earlier before we started recording, but I would put it on par with a small town community theater program for the Newsies and some recent high school graduate.
There's a quote in this where Tom Conti's like, "What do you do for a hobby?" What do you do for a hobby? Because he talks quiet. And Travolta's like, I got me woodwork and me model boats. And it's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's not great.
It's like Don Cheadle in Ocean's 11 quality.
Do you think he took, like, accent?
No, I think he was probably just like, yeah, I got this.
After three failures, and he
After a bunch
chooses,
of movies where he's never done an accent.
And he's like, I probably could do it.
He's like, I got this.
I did the New York accent. I could probably do this one
and
pretty
it
easily.
it's real rough.
And it's like, John, that New York accent was your native accent.
We very much struggled to understand what was happening in this movie and also what the people were saying.
Yeah.
I read the plot synopsis for the play online, so I understand a little better.
Can you read that for our audience? Because I don't know. And for me.
I'm not going to read the whole plot synopsis in front of you. We're going to work our way through this, and I'll refer to this as we need it.
Okay. Well, one thing that's interesting is 2 Oscar-nominated actors in this.
Yes, Tom Conti and John Travolta.
Yeah.
Tom Conti, very well respected. You know, he's a character actor.
He talks with a very slow and quiet tone.
You got nominated for an Oscar for Reuben.
Makes you fall asleep while you are listening.
There's a lot of like random movies he's popped up in. Most recently, he's popped up in 2 movies I like. He was in Paddington 2 as a judge.
He was in Paddington 2.
What an adorable movie. Everyone's watched Paddington 2. But he's also in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, there's when Bane like puts Batman in that underground cave prison.
And he's like, the vertebrae is split from your back.
You have my permission to die. You see the light into your eyes, but a man, and by then it was nothing but blinding.
Hey, Jeff, I think you should stick to the Bill Clinton.
What? My Bane. My Bane was great.
But Tom Conti was the guy, in the prison who like punches his back.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne's back is like snapped in half, and the guy's like, "All right, I got this." He punches him, and he's like, "All right, in a month it'll be better." And then it is.
And then when Christian Bale tries to climb the wall and he falls, and it's like, "I told you, no man can climb." And he's like, "If only a child could do it." It's like, but not just any child, a child born in the darkness.
The child of Ra's al Ghul.
Of Ra's al Ghul.
What a wild movie.
Yeah.
How crazy The Dark Knight Rises.
It is a crazy one. How did he get back? Because they're in Jerusalem?
He crawls out of the pit and he walks off and then he winds up back in Gotham. A lot of people are like, it's a plot hole. And I'm like, he's Batman. He found a way back. I don't care how he got there.
He's Christian Bale.
He's Batman. He can figure out a way.
No, Jeff. You don't understand. He's Christian Bale.
He's Batman.
He can do a lot.
Yes. gained 70,000 pounds to play the Sandworm in Dune. That was a good Onion article.
That was a good one.
But yeah, Dark Knight Rises is a very strange movie.
I'm still laughing at that Sandworm.
Yeah. I have a friend in his letterbox review for The Dark Knight Rises. Is if you told me this whole thing was completely improvised, I would absolutely believe you. Cole, that was a shout out to you.
You know, I do think The Dark Knight Rises isn't horrible.
I very much enjoy The Dark Knight Rises.
I thought it was all right.
It's pretty good.
It's got some moments.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's also got a lot of weirdness. It's like half an adaptation of Charles Dickens novels, half a Batman movie.
Yeah.
And then somehow that finds a third half.
A third half.
That was like there's 150% of a movie in a 100% movie. I'm drawing a really difficult thing there.
I'm just falling asleep thinking about the dumbwaiter right now, Jeff.
Tom Conti in The Dark Knight Rises, also in the dumbwaiter. He and
your back
Your
needs
back.
to be snapped back into place.
So Tom Conti playing what's the guy's name? Gus. His name is Gus.
I didn't write down any of the character names.
He's Gus, and Charles playing Ben. They're
Didn't know
driving
that.
to this like house in the middle of the woods,
Yeah.
and they go in. And they sit in the basement.
It's an old house.
Ben Travolta just like lays in the bed and starts reading the Sun magazine.
Yep.
And
It's a newspaper,
It's
isn't
a
it?
newspaper, yeah, newspaper.
Oh, it's just a magazine.
And Gus is like trying to make tea.
It's at this point I wrote down British accent. I can't understand half of what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then subtitles are Arabic.
And Travolta's like, "Oh, put a kettle on."
Put a kettle on.
Um,
Apparently, Tom Conti didn't know what the
yeah,
saying
and
meant.
he's like, "What does that mean?" He's like,
It's a saying.
"He's like, put the fire on the kettle or whatever." The
It's
hell.
like, no, you say you light the kettle.
Yeah, you light the
And it's
kettle.
like, no, it's not how you say it. You say put the kettle on.
They get into an argument how you say to put a kettle on.
Becca's giving us weird looks.
Yeah.
I think she's so impressed with our British accents.
At this point, I'm like, at this point, I'm trying to figure out what this movie's about. And I'm like, is this
I'm
about
still wondering.
I'm like, is this about a servant master dynamic? But then it does not really dive too much into that.
And then there's a dumbwaiter.
I would like to see like an actual like performance of this play put on, because I'm sure there might be some business in an actual.
This is why I've never been into like plays, because like this is to me, and I'm sorry for all my Broadway folks out there who are going to get really mad at me for this, but like you can't tell me this is not a stereotypical play. Like just two guys in a room talking about something.
Two guys in a room,
chilling in a hot tub, 5 feet
two
apart
guys
because they're
in
not.
a room.
And yeah, they're talking about. You can just shove it in there. Just shove it. There you go. Thank you, Becca. She had to throw trash away. So what were we talking about? We were talking about the two guys. Two guys in a room talking. That's a play.
Yeah, and
that's
they're-
a play.
and they're all-
Did you see Fences? The Denzel Washington,
I
Viola
have
Davis
not,
one.
but you know what plays typically are two guys in a room talking.
Yeah, well, like Fences is a family in a backyard talking. Like
That's what
these
plays are. They're like,
that's what these plays are. So when people are like, "Oh, we'll do a play adaptation," I'm like, "Oh no."
you know what? Two good play adaptations this past year are, though.
What?
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and One Night in Miami. They're two
Haven't
plays
seen either
that
of
they're
them.
pretty good movies. They're both on Amazon, I think. Oh no, Ma Rainey's on Netflix, but they're both pretty good movies.
Yeah.
And they're play adaptations set in one room. Both pretty good. Would recommend to watch. One Night in Miami, it's particular I rather enjoyed.
Yeah.
But this not so much.
This not so much.
Yeah, they're hanging out and they're trying to put a kettle tea on, and they're arguing, and they argue about sports for a little bit.
Do they?
Yeah, they argue about sports.
I didn't remember that.
Travolta has this thing. I was like, I got me woodwork and me motorboats. A man's always got to be productive. You always got to get things going on.
He just bosses Tom around.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
He's just very bossy, very rude, very mean, just like Urban Cowboy.
Yeah, and he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And there's some good zooms in this movie though.
Are there zooms in this?
There's a lot of like Travolta will like lay down and Tom Conti stands up and like it zooms through Tom Conti's like arm to Travolta's face. There's some good zooms in here. I like a good zoom.
Did I watch this?
You probably zoned out. It's hard to. And this thing has like a Twin Peaks ass score.
Yeah,
It's like
does.
it's like synthy and like it sounds like the first season of Twin Peaks.
Yeah. It does. It really does, though.
Yeah, and so these two guys are talking. They argue about sports, and then spontaneously in this house that is supposedly abandoned, orders start coming down through the dumbwaiter, the title of the movie, in the middle of the room, which is like the little elevator where you like put food on it and it carries it upstairs. And they're like, "This used to be a kitchen, innit? I gotta go in it." And upstairs there used to be a cafe, and
Have we already lit the kettle yet?
they get the kettle like truly lit around this time. when they're
Okay,
making tea.
because that's when the gas goes out, right?
Yeah.
And then Tom says with his ASMR voice, "The gas is out.
Yeah.
There's no gas."
The dumbwaiter just comes down and there's a note on it for like some complicated food order.
I just want to go back to say, well, what about the envelope with the matches?
It happens around the same time. It doesn't really matter. There's an envelope and it has matches that slide under the door, and they're like,
And they
go.
freak out about it. They're like,
Yeah,
who is that?
Tom kind of grabs a gun, and I'm like, oh, are they hitmen? Is that what's going on?
I read in the synopsis that they're criminals.
They're hitmen.
Oh, they're hitmen.
They're hitmen.
They're more than just criminals. They're hitmen.
Yes. Because that's the end of the movie, is the hit.
And is the hit? What? Wait, really?
Yeah, you watched this movie, didn't you?
I did.
You know what happens at the end.
Yeah, spoiler alert,
That's-
he shoots Tom.
Yeah,
Is that the hit?
that's the hit.
He was contracted to kill Tom the whole time?
Yeah. That's the...
I literally...
Did you not get that?
I just thought...
All of the scenes of Travolta pointing a gun at Tom, not sell you on this.
No, literally, because, like, what happened?
Folks, literally half this movie is John Travolta pointing a gun at Tom Conti and when he's not looking. And the other half of the movie is Tom Conti getting shot.
I literally thought that what happened at the end was Tom got scared and left. And then they were worried about the guys upstairs.
There are no people upstairs.
What?
That's the really weird thing about this.
Who was setting the dumbwaiter down?
Exactly. Oh, spooky. Oh.
I can't tell if you're yanking my chain or if this is real.
No, I'm being dead serious. I mean, the ghost stuff is this movie. From what I can get out of this is a very metaphorical thing. A lot of this is not like, and that's what makes the movie version so hard, is you don't get any of this.
Yeah.
It's like kind of just a metaphor.
Should we have watched The Room, like, to understand the context a little bit more? Like,
The Room has nothing to do with this.
I know,
It's
but
just
like,
to get Harold Pinter's style.
yeah, maybe. Like, if we watched The Room and got the style with this movie, it made more sense.
Perhaps. Here's the Wikipedia thing. One interpretation is that this play is an absurdist comedy about two men waiting in a universe without meaning or purpose.
Waiting in a universe?
Yeah, without meaning or purpose. And like the whole thing's just kind of metaphorical that these orders are just coming down from on high for things they can't accomplish. All the while they're just waiting for the inevitable end where one of them kills the other. Yeah, there's a lot of like attempt to examine this on this Wikipedia.
It just hurts my head trying to think any deeper about this movie because I want to watch it again for the sole purpose to fall asleep to it. I'm not kidding, folks. It really is a lullaby movie.
It's very calming to.
Have you seen Phantom Thread?
Yes.
There's a scene in Phantom Thread when he's like taking her measurements.
I simply do not have time for distractions.
What?
That's the quote in the movie, isn't it?
Well,
I simply do not have time for this morning.
It's like he takes her for measurements, and it's a famous ASMR scene when he's like measuring her and like putting on different fabrics on her and like trying to design a dress, and he's like, too serious. Like he says that in such a calm voice. Daniel Day-Lewis, he's just like, too serious. And he's like, oh, this is quite nice, quite nice. and the sounds of the fabric and the sounds of the footsteps on the wood and floors and like the sounds of like the needles puncturing the fabric. Like it's very ASMR like.
Yeah.
And there's like you can go to YouTube, type phantom thread measurement scene, and I guarantee you'll find like 19 videos that are about phantom thread ASMR.
I literally zoned out as you were talking about.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like this movie is that. This movie is that. The entire movie is that.
Yes. So yeah, these two guys are in there. They're talking about random stuff. They get an envelope matches from an unknown force. They're getting orders coming down through the dumb
food
waiter
that they need. It's like there's a restaurant upstairs.
Yeah. It's almost like this. It's all metaphorical, and it flew over my head because I need to see like. I need to see a good adaptation of this play to understand what's happening. I think it was partially just the barrier of not understanding half the dialogue, that it was low quality recording.
You know what's a better movie about two souls finding their purpose in the universe?
What?
Pixar's Soul.
Soul, pretty good movie.
It's a pretty good movie. Yeah. Deals with some of those
You know
issues.
what it's about? It's about soul.
About a soul.
Pixar's been getting more and more meta. First it was like, what if toys had souls?
What if toys had feelings?
What if monsters had souls? What if skeletons had souls?
What if feelings?
What if feelings had souls? And now they're just like, what if a soul had a soul? I literally don't know how they can make any more Pixar movies. They should shut the company down. They hit their apex.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do.
It's gonna be, what if an atom as part of a soul had a soul?
Ooh, like particles and quarks.
Yeah, it's gonna get into particles and quarks and shit. Oh god, it's gonna be about atoms being the building blocks and all that.
Eventually they're going to make a statement that God doesn't exist.
Yeah, eventually Pixar's going to make a movie called God's Not Real.
God is dead.
God is dead. It's going to be the same poster for the God's Not Dead. It's going to say God is dead.
God is dead.
And instead of the girl, you know how in the poster for God's Not Dead there's the girl putting the N up?
Putting the N up.
Yeah, it's going to be like a cute little Pixar thing. A Pixar demon putting up the is dead.
God is dead. They're gonna make such an atheistic claim. It's gonna make a schism in like their audience community.
It's still gonna be like as cute as a normal Pixar movie, but it's gonna be entirely about the cold like harshness of the universe and
how it's not designed intelligently,
like futile existence.
And at the end of the movie, an atom which is drifting out into there's a void in the universe. It's called the
You know what happens at the end of it, actually, though.
No, hold on. Let me keep this train going. There's a specific void in the universe, and what voids are is meaning it's like it's like a pocket of space where there's no stars. Yeah, meaning it's just pure blackness.
Yeah, there's just nothingness.
So what's going to happen at the end of this movie is a particle with feelings, with a soul. Yeah. So it has a face drawn on it. Is wandering in the universe, and it's like, where am I? What's happening? And they say like, this is the outside. Everyone wonders what's the outside. This is the outside. And we focus too much on the outside when we should cherish what's on the inside. Yeah.
And then you know what actually happens at the end?
What?
After that, it does like a super fast replay of the rest of time. And it shows the big crunch happening in the universe, collapsing in on itself. This is all set to a new Randy Newman tune. Where he's just like, he's like, you got friend in me. You're seeing like the universe is condensing and collapsing and life being snuffed out. As Randy Newman's like, yeah, there's no reason to be alive, but I got happiness inside.
And then it all condenses and collapses onto a single bright orb. Yeah. And that's when the final cadence of the Randy Newton song plays.
And then the orb disappears.
And the orb disappears. And then credits.
Yeah.
We just wrote Pixar.
Directed by Brad Bird.
Brad Bird or Andrew Slater. Andrew Stanton.
Pete Docter. Directed by Pete Docter. That'd be Pete Docter.
Pete Docter.
But he did Soul, Inside Out, Up, Monsters, Inc. All like the really metaphysical ones.
Interesting. What did Andrew Stanton do?
Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, and WALL-E.
He's more of the family, finding yourself sort of thing.
Yeah, I like him. I like his.
WALL-E.
He also directed episodes of Stranger Things.
Oh, that's cool.
And John Carter.
Who was the other guy? The very big name. I think he did the Toy Story. Yes,
John Lasseter. Huggenbear himself, who got fired from the company for inappropriate actions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did this happen recently?
This happened like 3 years ago.
I was.
You know how in Toy Story 3 there's Lotso hugging bear, who just walks around and he's a big jolly bear and he just hugs people.
That was John Lasseter.
John Lasseter got fired because he would just go up to women and hug them in the office.
Oh.
So try watching Toy Story 3 again with this knowledge.
So this was 3 years ago and he hasn't been back?
He's not been back. He's working at like Sony, I think, or DreamWorks. He's working somewhere else.
What did he do before that? Like, what were his main things?
He did Toy Story 1 and 2 and Cars 1 and 2 and Bug's Life.
Oh, Bug's Life.
And those are all great movies except for Cars 2.
Yeah.
And he didn't like do anything aggressive,
It was just
but he was
inappropriate
still
behavior.
being very inappropriate.
Yeah, it was just inappropriate behavior in the workplace.
And
so then who
justifiably he no longer works there.
who took over 3 and 4 Toy Story?
Toy Story 3 was Lee Unkrich, who also did Coco.
Great. That was Toy Story 3 is amazing.
Yes, and Toy Story 4 was by Josh Cooley, who was co-directing with John Lasseter when he got fired.
Gotcha. Which one's your favorite, 3 or 4?
Toy Story 2.
No, I understand. But
Toy Story 2 is the best. It's one of the best, like,
Toy Story 2 is really, really good. Don't get me wrong, but let's just look at 3 and 4. And I'm only asking that because there is debate with 3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 is better than 4. 4 is my least favorite. I like 4. I still like it. But
4 is the most beautiful.
it looks really nice.
You can't deny that 4 is the most beautiful.
Oh yeah, it looks really nice.
And there's so many beautiful images.
Yes, it is a gorgeous movie.
Gorgeous. But you think story-wise 3 rules.
3 is so much better. 2 is the best, but 3.
Why do you like 2 more than 3?
2 is the most amazing movie ever made.
It's
a movie
explain.
all that.
The Jesse storyline's fantastic.
The Jesse storyline, the Woody storyline. Watch that movie.
The Prospector.
No, here's the thing. Watch Toy Story 2.
Okay.
And watch how every scene ends with a shot that match cuts or segues directly to the next scene. It's literally every scene in that movie ends like that.
Wow.
It is amazing filmmaking to watch.
Yeah.
In action.
Yeah. But Toy Story 3, the end of the Andy saga.
It makes me cry, you know.
But you still think 2 is better.
I'm a grown-up baby, so.
Well, we're Andy's age.
Toy Story 2 is an extremely adult, mature, like, exploration. I don't want to say it's still a kids movie, but it has a very strong way of looking at, nostalgia and growing up and all this stuff that I just find very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
But 2 is still better.
2 is the best.
Yeah, I recently went through all the Toy Story movies. It's okay that we can talk about this because dumbwaiter's dumb.
I mean, we'll go get back to it.
We'll get back to it, but I think this is important.
How do we even get on this? I forget.
I don't remember. We were talking about Pixar.
Oh, yeah, we got into Soul Pixar now.
Because dumbwaiter's metaphorical for 2 souls in the universe, and we talked about souls. So I'm going to say something that I think might be a little bit controversial to the audience, which is when Toy Story 4 came out, I planted my flag and said, this is the best Toy Story movie. I love Toy Story 4.
Throw you out a window.
I think I was just so enamored by its look. It is unequivocally, like the images without the context of the story can make you cry. And then it's still a good story. It's still a good story. So when you add those small pieces in addition to this beautiful imagery, like every shot makes me want to cry for how the beautiful craftsmanship of it.
Mm-hmm. Toy Story is like our great existentialist saga.
I love
about the nature of being.
And then, I do like the idea how like Woody has to go through this existential crisis of like not being a favorite anymore, not being the go-to. And
he has to find happiness in himself.
And yes, in his self. And Buzz with his conscience bit. Literally Buzz finds a conscience.
Yes.
In Toy Story 4.
Find your inner voice.
And he brings a toy to life and then raises it as his own child.
Toy Story 4
Woody is a dad in this movie.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 is a movie about finding your inner self. Whereas the first 3 are about like making yourself available to others and discovering like what's the purpose of living. And Toy Story 4 is the movie that kind of flips it on its head.
Because in the first 3, they're all
it's about living for someone else.
Self-sacrifice for the betterment of your loved ones.
It's about trying to find a purpose
Yeah.
in a world where you are only there to be used.
Yeah.
And Toy Story 4 is the movie that's about maybe there's
something else for me out there.
there's a point of living for yourself too.
Yeah. I attach to that.
Yeah, it's I think it's a good message. I have some problems with Toy Story 4. I don't think it's as like completely cohesive as a movie the first three. I still like it.
Really?
Yeah, I still like it.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy it more than I don't.
And I liked the what's the girl's name? The new owner?
Bonnie.
I liked Bonnie. Like just, it's not as like super influential as Andy was, because again, I said earlier Andy was our age, but I actually think Andy's older than us.
Andy's
because
older than us.
2010 he goes to college.
Yeah.
I was starting high school. So
You know what does kind of you know what ruled about Toy Story 4 though?
what?
I saw it in Dolby Atmos. And I'm not going to talk about any like normal sound stuff. Tim Allen's bass in his voice.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard. I mean, Tim Allen is whatever.
Well, Tim Allen has a deeper voice than Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tim Allen is whatever. We're going to talk about him when we get to Wild Hogs in this show. But and we'll probably just talk about how he used to be a coke runner and like ratted out his friends, and then
And now
became
he's
a family comedy guy.
Now he's a biker.
Yeah, and then he became a biker, and now he's like talking about how like Donald Trump was the best thing for this country. It's whatever,
Yeah.
But Tim Allen, his voice, the bass of it
is really good.
I've never heard a man sound better in a movie theater.
So finishing my point, like when Toy Story 4 came out, I fell in love with that movie right away. But then recently, I want to say 3-4 months ago, I rewatched all the Toy Story movies. I do agree 2 is better than 1. 1, while being amazing, 2 is better than 1, but 3 got me a little bit more emotional just because it was very much about stages in life. That's kind of the message that I got on it, where they're all thinking about what is next, is next, and whether that's the attic or the trash or the daycare or a new owner. Andy from high school to college, moving on, giving his toys up, and like all of those moments fade away like tears in rain. Sorry, had to bring.
Okay,
sorry, had to bring the Blade Runner thing. But no, I do think. And then I watched Toy Story 4 after it. But after the end of all 4 movies, I was still thinking about 3.
Yeah, and
I was thinking about Andy saying goodbye to his toys. The slight glimmer of hope that maybe he sort of sees like a being within, like not even like a presence, an emotion that's with those toys.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite know they're alive, but he knows like there's an important presence with those toys in terms of his upbringing. I know I went on a huge thing, but all to say that after rewatching them all, I ended up rethinking, and now I believe that Toy Story 3 is the best.
I'm gonna do my rankings probably 2, 3, 1, 4. 3 and 1 interchange.
Mine is 3, 4, 2, 1. 4 and 2 interchange. But 4, it's just the images in 4 you cannot deny.
Yeah, but if I think that there's so much more good story and thematic in 2, and then
I don't know.
You know how we're having a really impassioned conversations right now debating the Toy Story movies. In the middle of this dumb waiter.
I don't want to leave this though, Jeff. I know we have to.
This
but
is
I don't
also
wanna
the first
leave
time
this.
we've had like probably an impassioned debate on the show,
and
it's about something we're not even covering in the show.
I know we are
Because
eventually
we've
have to go back to
mostly
the
been
dumb.
in lockstep and agreement about every movie we've covered.
Yeah, and I mean I respect. I do agree. I know exactly why Toy Story 2 would be
I
the
think
best.
you're absolutely wrong, a charlatan, and should eat the curb.
I just want the audience to recognize that here I am acknowledging and appreciating Jeff's stance, and then he fucking rails me.
Stuart's just wrong. It's fine.
All right, tweet.
It's fine. We can't have
tweet at us.
People can't be right in this world unless other people are wrong. So
Tweet at us at Travolting Pod, or comment on our Reddit, or comment on our YouTube channel, whichever one, and say what is your favorite Toy Story movie?
Yes.
Do you agree with
it's
Jeff?
Toy Story 2. We all know
It's Toy
this.
Story 3.
It's Toy Story 2.
It's Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I respect your opinion. I just think Toy Story 3 is better.
You know what a movie is though? The Dumb Waiter. I can't even say good movie because it's not. But
Well, that was a weird transition.
Yes.
You know what a movie is? You didn't even say like, but here's what you could have done, Jeff. You could have said, but the Toy Story movies aren't dumb. But you know what is dumb?
The Dumb Waiter.
The Dumb Waiter. See, I just gave you one.
But anyway, so these two guys, they're hitmen. They're hanging out. They're trying to send food up, but they don't have the food, so they just send like a bag of crisps and bread and shit.
First off, they call it crisps. That means you know they're British.
In case you couldn't tell by the accents.
In case you couldn't tell by the accents. I couldn't tell. It wasn't until they said Chris. I'm like, oh yeah, it's British.
Oh my God. But so they send that food up, and then they find like a talking pad or talking. It's like a cable with like a thing on the end of it, and there's like a little cork.
Oh yeah, they're able to talk to whoever is upstairs.
It's a talking like.
Is it a metaphor for religion?
Yeah, they're talking to God.
It's a Cain and Abel story.
Maybe.
It's the Cain and Abel story. No, hear me out. So, John Travolta is Abel. Everything he does turns to gold. He is the perfectionist brother. Mm-hmm. Whereas, well, actually, no, that doesn't make sense because...
Yeah, get wrecked.
Okay, so take out Cain and Abel. It's just a metaphorical allegory for religion with humanity's relationship to God. Yeah, with God sending us these unfulfillable deeds and tasks that we can't do because we don't have the
tools,
the mental tools and resources to accomplish that.
And see, this is why Pixar is making God is Dead, the movie.
And so it turns out to cause this request. I'm getting passionate about this.
Yeah.
This request for us to fulfill these deeds, tasks that are sent to us from on high, causes a schism within the relationship of humanity, causing bloodshed. Mm-hmm. Boom. Religion causes death.
Yeah.
God is dead.
Yeah, they get this old talking cable thing.
I'm an atheist, by the way.
And what's his name? I'm completely blank. Tom Conti pops the thing off and it has this like comical like, sound of it coming off.
Yeah.
It's very funny. But he talks into it. He's like, hello? Is anyone there? And he hands it to Travolta, and Travolta's talking. He's like, the guy said the crisp...
God only talks to one.
The bread was moldy.
God only talks to... No. Notice that Tom doesn't have communication with God.
The bread was moldy. The wine was stale.
Only Travolta does. And what Travolta gets back from God... Here's the thing. Do we know that's what God was saying to John Travolta?
No. John Travolta's making it up.
He's just... He could be just like... You know, they could be saying, oh, well, we actually wanted this. And then what John Travolta says is just at the expense of his brother, in a sense.
Yeah.
I'm loving this. I'm actually kind of...
Stuart's actually getting into this movie.
I'm actually kind of getting into it, like thinking about it metaphorically now. This movie really bothered me.
Literally, my last note was that the effect sound when he pops the cork off the thing was funny. So I'm flying completely blind with no notes right now.
My last note was the resolution is so bad I can't see his hair fairly well. Worse than Blowout. Oh yeah, the hair ranking. Let's put this on the hair ranking. Can you pull up the list?
Yeah, I have it up.
What is... All right, so his hair... I don't remember his hair.
Let me bring it up. Yeah, this is exhilarating. We're doing the hair ranking. We can't even remember it.
Well, I know it wasn't horrible. It was just like the movie is so bad it affects all of my decision making it affects all of my decision making for this, and I'm trying to be very unbiased with.
I mean, it's got just normal Travolta hair.
I want to say it was like on par with like adult Travolta hair, like in the Blowout category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think it was as good as Blowout. So, but I want to see like what is below Blowout, because I want to see if it deserves one below Blowout, two of a kind. Put it below two of a kind, above Urban Cowboy.
Ooh, that's spicy. Just
Urban Cowboy's wearing a hat throughout the whole thing. You know,
you must really hate the hair in these other movies if you're.
Well, Basements isn't that bad though. It's just regular. Again, we're in the Blowout category of regular John Travolta hair. Urban Cowboy's wearing a hat. Boy in the Plastic Bubble, too out of control. Moment by moment, it's way too out of control. And then Devil's Reign is wearing a hood.
Yeah.
Again, I know it's kind of hypocritical of me saying I love John Travolta hair, and yet two movies where he has really long hair is in the bottom. But again, I like the form, the fitted John Travolta hair. And that's why Carrie and Staying Alive are in the top.
Yes.
If you do long hair John Travolta well, it works. If you do long hair John Travolta poorly, it doesn't work.
It ain't cutting him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
we just did the hair ranking.
Yeah,
check.
This business keeps having. They keep arguing about food and
Jeff. We're about to exceed the runtime of this movie. We're at 53 minutes.
Oh my god, this movie's only 58 minutes.
58 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we just got to talk for 5 more minutes, and we'll have
exceeded the runtime.
We'll exceeded the runtime. Now, granted,
how did we go for 53?
Well, we had a long bit about Pixar and Toy Story, which I would do again. That was fun.
Maybe one day we'll do the Hanks cast.
Well, I think there are certain episodes of ours that warrant these types of conversations because there's just so little to talk about.
What if one day we'll do the Hanks cast and those would be?
Do you think we talked about all the different actors that we want to do?
We've come up with
your Stallone
50.
zone?
No. The friend pitched that to me. Don't blow up his spot on this.
You don't want to?
I can't blow up his spot yet. We still got like 50 episodes to record.
Yeah, that's true. I just thought it was a good name.
It was a good name.
It was a really good name.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good actor to do.
Cole, good name. You came up with a good name.
Good job, Cole.
I
don't know this Cole.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow up his spot yet. Yeah, he pitched. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe later.
Yeah.
Do we just want to talk about the end of the movie?
Sure.
Well, because I think one important bit to talk about is they formulate a plan for when somebody walks downstairs.
Yeah, someone's gonna walk down and they're gonna kill.
Oh, and this delivery, the lines in this is beautifully delivered because he's
like,
like,
"You stand over there."
Because John Travolta's walking Tom Conti through the plan. He's like, "You're standing behind the door. I'm standing behind the door. The door opens. The door opens. A man walks through. You stay there. A man walks through. I stay here." Like, he's just walking him through the whole fucking plan.
And then Conti accidentally
leaves his gun
in the dumbwaiter. And
the dumbwaiter goes up.
And Conti's like, "Oh, I'm going to go get my gun." And so,
does he say he's going to go get his gun?
Well, he like slips out the door.
Yeah, he slips out the door. He's like, "Where are you going?" It's like, "For some water."
Yeah, and Travolta's like, and then he gets a call on the thing.
And it's like,
the person's coming you need to kill. And then Conti walks in the door looking different. He has no clothes, or he has less clothes.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
And Travolta points the gun at him.
Cut to black.
No, we pan up and we hear gunshot.
Oh, pan up, not cut to black.
And then cut to black.
And then cut to exterior of the house.
Yeah.
John Travolta walks out.
John Travolta walks out, driveway. A cleaning crew comes.
Assumably a cleaning crew for the murder.
Because earlier in the movie, Tom Conti had been like, "When we do our business, who cleans up after us?"
Oh, I missed that.
And Travolta doesn't tell him because he doesn't know he's the one who's getting whacked.
So, like, John Wick does this too. Have you seen John Wick?
Yeah, I've seen all 3.
Me too. Good movies.
Did you know he's thinking he's back? Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
The end of the third one is even better because he's like, "How are you feeling, John Wick?" And he just looks at like, pissed off.
I'm pissed off.
The Reeves cast.
Yeah, the Reeves cast. Yeah.
Keanu Crew.
That's going to be it. We're going to do like 30 different... These shows are like 2-year projects, and we have 10 on the back burner.
We're going to be 80 years old talking about some...
The Tom Hanks one's got to be called Just Hankin' It.
Just Hankin' It?
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but...
How many movies does he have? He has a lot.
He has a lot. It's probably about comparable to Travolta.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking it up.
Anyway. So yeah, he shoots Tom Conti and he dies, and that's the end.
That's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie. It's some sort of exploration of, the futility of the universe and the master-servant relationship. There's not much to it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot to it if you were to watch like a better adaptation or a real stage play version delivered by guys who aren't John Travolta trying to do a British accent. But as it stands, this ain't it. It's rather boring.
Tom Hanks has 88 actor credits.
Holy shit! I mean, some of them are probably TV shows and whatnot. So
probably
things we wouldn't cover.
Yes.
As you know, we're not covering Welcome Back, Kotter on this show.
He does a lot of narration over documentaries.
Yeah, I mean, we actually are covering a Tom Hanks narration in this show.
With the astronaut one, right?
Walking on the Magnificent Desolation, walking on the Moon 3D.
How long do we have until we have to record that one? We have not begun our astronaut search yet.
We have a fair bit to go.
But it's going to be a while to get our astronaut.
Yeah, we have to find an astronaut for that one. If anyone on this listening to this knows an astronaut, please
email.
Let us know.
Travolting
podcast at gmail.com. We would like to talk to him very much.
We have exceeded the runtime of
Holy
this movie.
shit.
We're at 59 minutes now.
Folks, just listen to this episode instead of watching.
You could.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
That is the end of the movie.
This movie got very mixed to poor reviews. Travolta got very mixed reviews, though Harold Pinter did say it was his favorite performance of the character he'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is the only praise you need.
Is this Travolta's only Robert Altman collaboration?
This is only Robert Altman collaboration. He doesn't do a movie again for a few years after this until The Experts, which we'll be covering next week.
Why do you think it was their only collaboration? Because you think if it was...
I don't think Altman works with the same people. I could be very wrong with that.
But that would make sense, though.
Travolta tends to... I mean, he sometimes works with the same people, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's...
The Basements, The Dumbwaiter, 1987.
Yes, that is Basements, The Dumb Waiter.
Directed by Robert Altman. This was not as painful to talk about as I thought it would be, Jeff.
Yeah, this was not too bad. We had a good time.
Moment by Moment was a lot more painful.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be movies every now and again like this or Moment by Moment where there's just really nothing to talk about. We have to cover it because we have to understand the whole of Travolta to understand him.
Yeah. This was like a middle project for him. Like, I wouldn't say this in between Perfect, which we covered last week, and then Experts, we're going to cover next week. I wouldn't count this as almost like a staple within as many films. I think this is like he had some free time and he did it.
If the Travolta we're trying to put together is a puzzle, like he's a puzzle and we're trying to piece him together and figure out, like, as our show is an investigation, to figure out what he's really all about, like trying to understand his arc and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is a very small piece of that puzzle.
Absolutely.
But you still needed to finish the puzzle.
Yeah.
Whereas something like Blowout's like a huge piece.
Yeah.
This is a little piece that like slides in next to it. But you still need it, otherwise you're gonna have a hole in the puzzle.
A small hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, a hole nonetheless.
So yeah. That's The Dumb Waiter.
That is The Dumb Waiter.
You can watch it on YouTube if you're so inclined. As Stuart said, it's great ASMR.
It's great ASMR.
Yeah.
Put it on your phone, put it on your nightstand, go to sleep to it.
So yeah, thank you all for listening.
Are we ending this?
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about The Dumb Waiter.
We just passed the hour mark.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about The Dumb Waiter unless you do.
I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
I could talk more about Toy Story with you.
No. I don't want this to keep going. We've already exceeded the length of the movie.
What time is it? It's not that bad.
I told Becca we'd be done by like 3:30 and it's almost 4.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry, dude.
Oh, no, it's fine. We're in no rush.
She's been really patient.
Yeah. She's at the car wash.
For folks listening, we usually record 2 episodes in one session.
Yeah, but that's what we did. This was recorded immediately after our perfect episode.
Yeah, and so she's been here for the entire
the entire time.
So if you add up how long the perfect episode was, which we released last week, and then how long this episode is, Becca's been there for 2 extra hours because of prep time and wrap time.
Yes.
So yeah,
a trooper.
A trooper.
Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Make sure to turn in next week. We'll have an episode on The Experts. A movie that Stuart's going to absolutely lose his mind when he sees Travolta's hair. And no cheating.
I haven't seen it.
You have to wait until you see the movie to find out.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we'll be covering that. You guys will listen to it next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dumb Waiter. I know it wasn't our most exciting episode, but we hope you got something out of it.
We hope you like the Toy Story segment.
And we hope you'll come back next week for The Experts. In the meantime, make sure you rate, review, subscribe to this podcast. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube as a reminder. Hope you tell your friends. Let them know this show is out there.
Please
and also
do.
tell them, follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Travolting Pod.
We got some good content.
Yeah, we always have some good stuff coming up. We're excited to hear from you guys. If you like the show, please let us know. It makes us feel really good. You can pop into our Travolting or into our Reddit r/Travolting. Make a post. Talk about a movie. Tell me your favorite meal at McDonald's. I don't know. Just do something. Find any comments or questions at travoltingpodcast@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter at Jeff W. Sweeney.
Find me on Instagram at Stuart Elmore 95.
Yes. Special thanks to Rebecca Johnson for
Love you, Rebecca.
graphic design and for sitting through these.
She's great.
Michael Van Bodegum Smith, as always, for the theme
We
music
love you,
you are
Michael.
now hearing.
You are now
Have
hearing
a great rest of your week, everyone. See you next time for The Experts.
The Experts. Bye.